of the wood where the pine trees stand tall lies a tale of the unknown, shrouded in mystery for all. Sasquatch roams the shadows, big feet and fur so wild, with eyes like glowing embers, unsettling and beguiled. Sasquatch and Dogman, under the moon's silver light, they come alive in the quiet of night. Echoes of howls, footsteps so grand, secrets of the forest, known by few in this land.
Squatch dogs.
Early music fills the air, echoing through the night.
Squatch dogs.
Whispers in the woods where shadows play, legends come alive at the break of day. Footsteps echo loud but no one's there, Bigfoot's lurking in the midnight air. Dogman howls beneath the moonlit gloom, eyes that shine like fire in a room of doom. Poltergeist dancing, moving through the halls, ancient secrets breaking through the walls. O.C.S.T is more than a name, Bigfoot and stuff, it's a whole new game. Chasing the truth in a silent night, empowered by the mystery, fueled by the fright. Cryptids in your mind, let your wonder grow. The hidden world is ours to know. From the forest deep to the attic's dust, O.C.S.T, we're learning to trust. Tracks in the snow where the brave won't tread, hidden voices calling from the things we've read. The unknown things with a haunting sound, empowering us as the tales go around. O.C.S.T, it's more than a name, Bigfoot and stuff, it's a whole new game. Chasing the truth in a silent night, empowered by the mystery, fueled by the fight. O.C.S.T, it's more than a name, Bigfoot and stuff, it's a whole new game. Chasing the truth in the silent night, empowered by the mystery, fueled by the fight. Fueled by the fight.
Hello everyone and welcome to O.C.S.T.
Bigfoot and stuff.
Let's see, we got 8 people in here.
Yes,
so
8
that's
people.
Awesome.
Woohoo! Let's
It's
go.
great to see everybody. So this week we have a special guest on the show, and we'll bring him up in a little bit. But before then, we're gonna do our roll call, as always, because I think the chat's working this week.
It is working, and there's quite a few people in there. Let's do this roll call. Woo-hoo! As long as you don't mess it up. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding with him.
Alright, here we go. Of course, Christy. We got Kat with K. Good to see you, Kat.
How's it going, girl? It's being temperamental.
Yeah, a little bit.
And it's Arcane. Hey,
Arcane
Carmen's in here.
Adventures. Hey,
Jess
Jessie.
is in here. Woo.
Good to see you. Kraylin. Great
Kraylin,
to see
dear.
you.
I caught a little bit of your part 1 of Ingalls or whatever it was. I just happened to catch a little bit of it.
Let's see. We had Kara. Good to see you, Kara.
Hello, dear Kara. How are you? It's good to see everybody so far. I know I've talked to a few people in the chat because I'm like talking to everybody, I think.
North Alabama Cryptids.
How are you? How's it good
y'all.
to see you? NAC.
Let's see. Who's next?
River. River's in there.
River's in here?
River's
Awesome.
in here.
Good to see you,
Hey,
River.
mate. How's it going?
Hey, Connor.
Hey, CJ. How's work going, buddy?
Cooey, River.
I
And
think that's
about it for now.
so far. So, before we bring in our awesome guest tonight, there's a couple things I want to say. That besides, hello, Dana.
Hey, Diana.
Diana. I do that every time.
Stephanie. Good to
Hey,
see you.
Steph. How's it going? Before we get started, I want to send up prayers to Midwest Night Watchers, Jane and Gerald.
Yeah.
They have been feeling majorly under the weather, so that is not cool. So I know I talked to Jane a little bit right before the show because I sent her the link, all like normal always, and she's not feeling good. Her and Gerald has just been sinus and crud, and it's not cool. And then of course the weather, excuse me, the weather up north has not been the greatest. So just I'm sending prayers and good vibes to them because we miss them.
Yeah.
And they've had to cancel a few shows, which is not like them.
So if you can, head on over to Midwest Night Watchers here on YouTube.
They stream on Fridays and Sundays, I believe.
Just go over there and wish them well.
Yeah. So sending prayers to them because we love them very much. And then the whole state of Georgia, I read, I got an email through work the other day that they've had some major wildfires. So we are sending prayers to Georgia and the wildfire issue out there and for the people that live there. And we love y'all from Oklahoma. And it's not fun having wildfires. You know, the state of Oklahoma knows that all too well, especially in the springtime when the rains haven't hit yet. It can be very devastating and not cool. So we're sending love to Georgia, to the state.
And don't forget, send your prayers and your love out to the people in Kansas and
Oh yes, tornadoes
all
have been
over
crazy.
Oklahoma. Yeah.
Enid, the little town, well, I can't say Enid's little, but the town north of us about an hour got devastated by an EF4 tornado.
Yeah.
About a week and a half ago, no one perished, which was amazing, and it's amazing. But a lot of devastation, a lot of houses totally demolished. So the whole country in itself needs prayer, but specifically in those a few places. Hello, Face the Ace.
Hey, Face the Ace. Good to see you.
So yeah, we're just sending love and prayers.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was on my topic list.
And if there's anybody else you want us to send prayers for, and just mention them in the chat.
Drop it in the link. I mean, in the chat, and we'll get it out there. Who else am I missing? Kara. Hey, Kara. I saw Kara. Stephanie, love ya. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anybody because the chat went crazy for a second.
Hey, at least it's working this time.
Yes, and we can actually see it on the computer instead of reading it off of our phones. But
all right. So with that being said,
David at North Alabama Alabama Cryptids said they had lots of rain.
Lots of rain last night.
Hopefully nothing too serious. Hopefully nothing too serious.
Prayers for anybody up there that's been affected.
Yes, Katrina, is he coming on tonight? Do you know? We'll wish him a happy birthday. So,
So happy
correct me,
birthday,
it's a Dennis,
Cat's
right?
dad.
I just wanted to make sure. So if Dennis comes in, I believe that's his name.
Yeah.
I just call him Dad. But if
Yeah.
he comes in, today's his birthday. We'll wish him a happy birthday. We will. We will.
All right. So, with that
Happy
being
birthday
said,
to your dad. See, everybody's already wishing him a happy birthday.
yeah, we have a special guest tonight
We
who
do.
said that he wanted to be on the show this week. So, we got him waiting backstage. So let's go ahead
Let's
and
bring him up. We can't keep
bring
him
him up
waiting.
if he's ready.
Are you ready? All right.
All right.
Hello,
How's it going there, guys?
Pretty good. How you doing, man?
Going?
Doing good, doing good. Love the
Oh.
intro and stuff, and yeah, prayers to all the craziness that's going on in the world these days.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is so crazy.
Yeah. Plus, we have a friend of ours on here that is a he's a certified. What would he call it?
Ron?
Yeah.
He tests the weather alarm systems for the outside.
Yeah, he's
Tornado emergency.
emergency management.
Yeah.
So, hopefully, he's getting a break.
Yeah.
Because he's been crazy. Yeah, but he's the guy that goes around and sets and checks all the sirens and all that. So
For the outdoorness.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
so hopefully
Yeah,
he's getting
much needed too.
yeah. So go. You want to go ahead and reintroduce yourself to people that may not be familiar with yourself and your channel?
Sure. Yeah, my name is Blake Duescher. I am the founder of the Lost Cryptids Conservatory. It's a Bigfoot cryptids research group out of Michigan. Started that in 2018, but I've been doing this for 20 plus years now. Basically, from my first encounter at age 13, kind of just got me started down this path and stuff, and it's been an adventure for sure. You know, ups and downs and a bunch of turnarounds, and I can honestly say that I feel like I'm still the kid in the candy store having fun, basically every single day. You know.
Yeah.
With a great hobby that makes you meet good people, good friends and stuff, and even a little bad stuff. But you know, experience, good and bad, builds you up, builds your characters, and it builds your research up too. So I'm always excited, happy to talk and share my experiences, and I seen you guys having your shows and stuff. You know, we have pretty much mutual friends and all that, like Jess in the chat, and
Yeah.
you know, seeing you guys were good people and stuff. So. And I figured, you know, it'd be nice. You guys are always bugging me and stuff, so I wanted to, you know, come on and properly give
I
it a
try to
go.
bug a lot. No.
It worked. It worked.
Yes. Persistence.
So you said you're based out of Michigan. So
Yes, that's correct.
Awesome.
what would be the number one cryptid that you're having to deal with when you go out?
I would assume Bigfoot, based on the number of activities and I think stuff. I've seen you know, I've had ghost encounters. I've had UFO encounters throughout my life. I've actually filmed one that's on the channel. I've seen a cryptid creature that I would call the stick man. A lot of people would recognize as the rake or some of these similar skinny naked humanoid things. And I seen a dog man across the road and stuff. So like, there's a lot of things out here, I think, in the world. But from my experiences and the evidence that I get most often is what I would associate towards Bigfoot. I get a lot of knocks and whoops and stuff. Actually, this last Friday, I got very powerful tree knocks, thumps, and a very scary response and stuff. Actually, two pretty scary responses in the audio. So, unless Dogman has fingers and hands and, you know, hits trees like a baseball bat, I would associate it towards Bigfoot and stuff. But
Yeah.
finding prints and stuff, even in Florida during the 168. A lot of that stuff is more Bigfoot oriented. But here in Michigan, there's reports of like thunderbirds. There's a lot of cryptid creatures and weird stories about the Great Lakes on themselves. A lot of missing people. Some of the areas that I have personally been into and had actual encounters, even visual sightings, there are dozens and dozens of missing people, and it's a little scary finding out after the fact. But there's a lot of weird stuff associated with not only Michigan, but basically the whole U.S. I mean, everywhere. It's all weird. Missing people and all the fun.
There's a lot of similarities between Michigan and Oklahoma when it comes to the cryptid sightings and just the interactions that you have with things you can't even see out in the woods. They let you know that they're there for sure.
Yeah, I have a video on my channel where I basically film some entities that I can't see, and I hear them following me. But at first, I thought it was like a little woodchuck or something on the ground, a little mouse in the leaves. And I'm on this hill. I'm getting all these weird vibes and stuff. And I end up walking away because an animal's not going to follow you. Typically, animals run away and stuff. So I walked like 200 yards away. I walked towards the car, but I had these things follow me. And I got to a point where, all right, I'm going to film them. Here they are. And they come up and they split off and go around me. I realized there's actually two of them now. And they stop at both sides of me at the 9 and 3 o'clock position and kind of get freaked out. I go back to my car and I hear them all the way to my car. Wow. They're over this little embankment next to the car. And I look over there, but there's nothing there. So I kind of freak out a little bit because I'm alone. No one knows where I am. So the next day, me and James, a member of the Lost Cryptids, and this is on film too. This is called Multiple Bigfoot Encounters Escalation. There's different videos, but Escalation is the final one where we start hearing whoops and calls. And James, at the time, we had just met and stuff. I think this is like our 4th time we actually went out together, and he kind of freaks out a little bit, starts calling for, who's out there, hello, we don't want to hurt you, we're friendly and stuff like that. And he gets pretty upset and actually wants to leave. And I'm really excited. I'm kind of laughing because I just had the experience the day before and this. And so you can watch that video, and there are some vocalizations and all that. And it's just pretty crazy.
Wow.
Honestly. Hey, Roger Blair, good to see you.
So, go ahead. Oh, I was going to say, so David from NAC subbed to your channel, Blake, just to let you know, and just lots of people came in. So hey, everybody that just joined us, I mean, it's good to see everybody. Yeah. It's good to see everybody. Okay, that's all I had to say. Oh, Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot, hey! TKB!
TKB, good to see
you. All right,
y'all.
sorry.
So, when you go out and you're searching for, are you searching specifically for one cryptid, or are you just whatever whatever piques your interest at the time you get out there? This just for people that aren't familiar with the way we set up our searches, I should say.
Honestly, now when I go out, I just
I know.
I don't really expect anything to happen. Areas with the camera, with equipment, with ready to go, and whatever happens, I just try to get it on film. I'm open to whatever. I've seen lights in the woods. I've seen, I've had people out with. I've had lots of people out with experiences, but in this one particular time, this person gets tapped on their shoulders as I'm seeing a light in the woods, and I'm trying to filming it, and they freak out and stuff, and there's nothing around us and stuff. So, and these are in areas where I would say, yeah, I'm looking for Bigfoot in these areas, but sometimes this other activity that I'm not sure how it comes into play or if it's different happens. So now I'm just open to whatever happens. I'll film anything. Anything crazy that goes on and stuff. So because I think there's a lot of different stuff we just simply just don't have any answers for. So any evidence is what I'm trying to get
Right.
is video evidence is what I mainly try to go in audio. I'm getting
Right.
more luck with audio. It's a lot easier. It's a passive research, very easy for anyone to do. It's just figuring out what the actual sounds are. That's when you got to have integrity and
Yeah.
kind of knowledge of the environment, animals, so you don't get tricked by the sounds of a deer, sounds of a raccoon, something that comes up to the recorder. But what I really look for is those things that you just can't say that's a deer, that's an animal. You have a massive tree knock that happens
Mm-hmm.
on film or on thermal, something that's positively not a deer, something that's does some crazy movements or rock throwing or smashing of trees, anything that's you could physically determine it's not AI, it's not a
Right.
person and stuff. So
Yeah. It's like
that's what I'm after.
when we go out in the woods, if we're hearing something, and then somebody that's watching our live, if they're hearing something similar or different, it's I, I'm not sure if you'll agree, but my experience is when you first hear something, like you said, it could be a deer, it could be a long list of things, and the way a researcher goes about things is everything's on the table, and when you finally, if you do happen to get visual proof, that's A1, that's the best visual proof. And then number 2 is deciphering what other creatures would make noises like that. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, it's too easily to you can trick yourself. We really want to find this thing, we really want evidence, so it's easy to hear a sound and say, oh, it's Bigfoot, even though it could be a list of things. And
Right.
and it's good to record lots of hours so you get used to different sounds and stuff. And if you have a particular place you put your recorder, in my instance, I there's some raccoons and stuff that will come around every once in a while, and I think there's a little mouse that likes to scurry by the recorder and stuff. So I know the patterns of those animals, and
Yep.
sometimes you wouldn't know that if you don't try and associate that. But I've had what really we should be after is not trying to pin everything to Bigfoot or any other cryptid, but
Right.
the evidence should be so amazing that it should slap you in the face that people have a hard time attributing to anything else, really.
Yeah.
Right.
So if it can easily be, if it's not good enough, in my opinion, I'm a party pooper sometimes when it comes to evidence and what happens to the field, because people are like, oh, did you hear that? And it's like, yeah, those are coyotes. And they're like, yeah, but they are making some weird sounds because humans haven't recorded every single sound animals make. So there are literally dozens of new animal sounds that are recorded that are good because we don't have that. Scientists don't have that are unique. And so to be able to pinpoint, oh yeah, it's coyote, that's a deer snorting. We just scared away something. It's hopping and like a deer will hop and skip in the woods. It doesn't sound like running, like footsteps. There's a difference.
Right.
Trust me, when you hear footsteps, you hear Bigfoot, you're gonna know, and that experience comes. You can only have that experience if you actually have an encounters. That way, the difference. And I feel like I've had enough that I'm a party pooper. That's not what we're after. Even glowing eyes in the dark, that doesn't mean Bigfoot. Most all nocturnal animals or semi-nocturnal animals, their eyes will reflect off of the lights or the IR lights that we're using and stuff. So eye shine doesn't necessarily mean Bigfoot. And I could go out, and so you gotta step up the game and maybe go towards it. Try to have other things like rock throws or a tree knock that you see next to the eyes, and you had something else happen that you could say, okay, these add up to something that's significantly more than just a deer or another animal. This is good stuff, not fantasy stuff or association.
Right.
Or
Right.
You know, it's big
Right.
fish story. You
Big
know,
fish
we want a
story.
big fish story, and the big
Even
fish
though it's only this
will
big.
slap you in the face.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. If we go out in the woods and we get eye shine, okay, and then that eye shine then has a silhouette. Um,
yes,
that's when you have to make the decision. Um, do we press it, or do we stay back and hope that it comes out without us having to uh, push the situation a little too far? Um, have you ever had that situation where you've had the silhouette show up and then go ahead and tell us about it?
I've done some. I've done all sorts of stuff. I can say I've done all sorts of stuff. Dumb stuff. Probably a lot of dumb stuff. I've done all sorts of stuff. I mean, I've took naps in the middle of the woods. I've took naps in the middle of winter. You know, I've crossed frozen streams, and yeah, we have encountered Bigfoot.
You live in Michigan. Of course
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can
so-
cross some rivers that are frozen.
Well, it's simple. Bigfoot crosses the river, and most people don't want to get wet. It's too cold, whatever excuse. So I want to go over there. And it's funny, is because I tell people, well, your shoes are wet, your pants are wet. What's the difference now? Well, you can just cross and get a little bit more wet. And if you want to go out in the swamp, you don't got muck boots or waders, I mean, you're going to get wet.
Yeah.
Right.
But yes, there's a couple instances. In Florida, I should say this first. In Florida, I during the 168 with the late great Carrie Arnold and everyone who was involved, there was a particular night where I was with some researchers and stuff, and they were having activity and stuff. They met with us at this four-way crossroads, and they went into this little patch of woods, and I was talking to this one guy. He was kind of complaining about stuff, and I had the camera, and I was filming. I turn and I look, and I see the creature, Bigfoot creatures, come in what would we describe as spider crawling out. He looks like this, and he turns his head. And I see the silhouette. I see him. I see the head, very short hair. He turns like this. You know, we basically make eye contact on filming, and he goes and charges towards the other group and stuff. And I went up to where he went into, and then I didn't go into it because where the creature went into the tall grass, you know, it was, you know, it's like knee high. You know, the creature was never more than waist high, knee to waist high. So it wasn't like a Bigfoot walking around. It's like on all fours, and that visually just creeps you out. After that, I didn't want to be such a pussy. So when we went to Allegan, and during you can watch this on the YouTube, the Allegan expeditions, part 1 and part 2. I chased after the things that we were hearing, and you know, I got the sense that it was a pretty good sport about the situation because we chased it, and then we went back to the people, and people had some night vision and thermal. The guy in the thermal never saw anything. We chased it away. It came back. You know, we chased it away again, and I chased it all the way to the edge of this ravine, and the ravine went down like 50 feet into the creek bottom. And when I was running after it, me and this other guy, we split off, went 2 different ways, and we were trying to go and circle around it, cut it off before it could go down. And we did, and basically I heard it run to the embankment, jump, because I didn't hear nothing. I hear it just it just reaches out and like slaps the top of the trees as it's like jumping down and stuff. And this is at nighttime, and I get to the edge and I hear that, and I don't go down it because it's like, whoa, that's pretty intimidating. And but it was a good sport. You know, me and the guy who ran, you know, as we were walking back and stuff, eventually he turned around in the full moon. He seen a silhouette on the trail, and it walked off. And, you know, we walk up to the area and stuff. He's kind of freaking out, and because he just seen something, and looking around, I don't see where it went. I don't see the foot tracks, you know. And so it was a pretty good sport. Kind of dumb because you get one that's mean and angry, or just woke up, or is a little hungry. We might not have a good sport. But so yeah, you know what my philosophy is too is to be playful to them. So like, if you really think you're having Bigfoot activity and you go into the same area over and over and over again, and
Right.
I have documented proof of them like leaving stuff on the trail, putting and just this last Friday too, when I picked up the recorder, there was this little bulb, a plant bulb that was stuck onto a stick that's right in front of my face, right in my right where I go every single time. And I've documented this for over 2 years now with sounds, and I really think that they recognize you and stuff. So if you present yourself as a good person, how you conduct yourself, I think they see a lot of human interactions at camp and in homes and watching in through windows and TVs. I'm sure they know our emotions and stuff. So the way you conduct yourself is probably plays a lot on if they want to come close to you, interact with you. So I've done stuff where I thought I was having activity and stuff. I'll pick up a little stick and I'll throw it a little bit and I'll laugh and I'll run away and stuff like that, and things like that. That, in my opinion, would help calm the situations down, because you get yourself in a very bad situation or just a scary situation. Like you take other people out and they start freaking out. Well, you're going to be okay because you're calm, cool, and collective, but you don't know really exactly how they're going to react. If they're going to just run away, they might even have a gun and start shooting. There's an instance in Michigan where that actually took place. An instance where that took place. So, and then now you really have a bad situation, right? So it's really important how you conduct yourself. So you want to try to be playful, but you also don't want to be prey. Playful, but not prey.
Right. Speaking of prey, have you ever had in any instance where you were out in the woods and you've had a wild animal, something like a mountain lion, something of that nature, that has come up on you or your fellow researchers?
No. Actually, yes. No. I take that back. We were up north a couple years ago, freezing our butts off when it was like -5, -10 degrees, camping it with tents out. We actually. No, wait, sorry. That wasn't it. The next time we went back up there, it was after winter because there was dirt on the ground. I think this was summer. We actually ran into a bear. We actually walked the trail, walked around, and then we were walking the road up. And there was a bear like 10 feet away from the guy next to the road. So there was 3 of us. I was in the middle, and then the guy next to the embankment, he was like 10 feet away from the bear. And we both parties kind of stalled at each other, and it freaked us out and stuff. But we wanted to get back to try to get it on thermal and stuff. We actually did, and kind of stomps and scruffs the ground a little bit and stuff. So we walked away. We didn't really want to mess with it too much, but yeah, that was pretty close for a regular animal.
You almost got to be bear bait.
Well, he would have been lit up pretty fast with some guns, so it.
You had your protection, awesome.
But then then that causes a whole nother headache, because then you got to call the DNR or Fish and Wildlife, and then you got to prove your innocence and all this and all that. So it's like, we don't want that. We don't want to hurt the bear and stuff, but we're not prey. We're not,
Right.
There's a reason we go out there armed. It's not just for Bigfoot or anything else. It's because we value our lives. It's our lives are worth more than anything out there. So it's a no-brainer.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we walk into the woods. It's no longer our domain, really. It's all those creatures that we run into out there. That's like us going into their front door. So, like in my experience, I've never been face to face with the bear yet.
Nope.
And I say yet because I do go into areas.
Don't want to be.
Where the bears frequent, but mountain lion, different cats. This has been different cats that I've run into and had that experience where I've had to do the jumping up and down, the screaming, and just letting them know that they're they're not encountering a meal. They're encountering something that can fight back without doing the fighting back. Because if you want to go one on one with something like a mountain lion or a bear, 9 times out of 10 you're not going to win. So the best thing is keeping your distance. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, if you're unarmed and stuff, especially you don't want to make yourself big and stuff. If you are armed with bear spray or anything, really, it's better than nothing. And you with a black bear, you don't play dead, so you want to fight back even if you're getting attacked. Black bears are a little bit different and actually have been known to go after people and prey, act like we are prey more so than a grizzly bear would. Grizzly bear attacks usually are mother bear cubs and stuff, maybe an old bear attacking. Black bears, at different instances, there was, I think, college kids or teenagers, there was a group of 5 of them, and a black bear went right after all of them. They split apart, and he mauled and killed the one that he targeted when they all split away. So you kind of want to keep together, and if you're having a bear attack, five guys fighting the bear is better than one guy. So but I always carry protection, either a big knife, or any kind of firearm that's legally allowed. So because you just never know, and there's weird people out there and stuff, and there's more stories about that than I think encountering Bigfoot and Dogman and ghosts or aliens and shooting at them. So
like I try to encourage everyone that I talk with about this is at least have bear spray, at least have that, because that creates a not a permanent barrier, but it's a barrier to where you can create distance if this thing is directly in the path of the spray. Now, I have sprayed at other aggressive animals with the bear spray, and if you don't get in the line of fire with, when you're aiming at this creature, most of the time they're just going to get mad because they'll get a little bit in their eye or in their nose or whatever, and it agitates them. So when you do carry the bear spray, it's you got to be a good aim, just like when you're having, when you have a weapon, and nobody that is an amateur with a gun should be out in the woods aiming it. So I always try to encourage everyone, if you go out in the woods, if you're taking a weapon, make sure that you know how to use that weapon, because at some point you will have to use it.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't just try to learn a bike and then go, race, do the Tour de France. I mean, it doesn't really work like that.
Yeah,
especially
watching Evel Knievel. I don't like being Evel Knievel.
Right. It is personal responsibility, and I take it very seriously, because I've been in the woods with lots of people who've acted all sorts of different ways, and for the most part, if you take someone into your area and all that, I feel like it's your responsibility to keep them their well-being, because they put their trust in you and stuff. It's without that and stuff, you could be in scary situations. You could be left alone in the middle of the woods at nighttime and stuff, because someone gets annoyed because you're too slow or whatever, and that doesn't ever matter, because you should always care about the person next to you, their safety, their well-being and stuff, more than Sasquatch, more than evidence. I mean, I've for instance, like me and James, when we were having activity and we're getting calls and I'm filming and he's freaking out and he wanted to leave, and I said, all right, let's go. Even though we're having activity and just maybe 5 more minutes, maybe we'll get one on camera. It's so selfish if I would say, no, let's not go. Right. He's not going to walk out by himself. There's no way. So you do have a responsibility and stuff, and you got to have integrity into this. And I think people lack that. And get all sorts of storytelling and stuff. But once you experience the real stuff, you get hooked on that. You don't need to fake stuff. You don't need to exaggerate the big fish stories. Like, you just want more of that, and you become responsible for people who are in those situations, who first experience are freaking the crap out because they kind of believe Bigfoot, but like, oh my God, it's really happening. And like, yeah, your body reacts differently when you are hearing this craziness in the woods at nighttime, especially, or even during the day. Like, and people just don't get it. And I think that's why we need to step it up as researchers. And if you're going to prepare hard, train hard with a gun or with bear spray, like, be proficient at your tools, your camera, your gear, at least practice a little bit. Survival instincts. What happens if you trip and fall? You break your leg. I'm out there by myself. If you don't have a phone, gets damaged with water, what are you going to do?
Right.
You shouldn't be out there with like a water bottle and nothing else, and then like, oops, I don't know what to do. I'm in a bad situation, weather pending. I mean, tornadoes and all sorts of stuff.
Yep.
There's a lot of things you got to check and prepare for, especially if you're going camping and stuff.
Okay, so have you had more experience during the daytime versus the night, or is it the same, or more at night than day? I'm curious because for me, I have never gone on a night excursion yet. And I would be one of those people that would freak the freak out. I'm being honest. And so I've had more day stuff. And so when I go out at nighttime, I know I have to check my surroundings and know where I'm at and all that stuff and listen to the creatures in the night. But have you had more experiences in the nighttime or in the daytime or both, or what's your intake?
I think more at nighttime. They're more incredible encounters during the night. They get more brazen and bold to do stuff that maybe they don't want to do it and during the day because you can go around looking and stuff. But at nighttime, it definitely activity picks up. They're more bold to do crazy stuff, yell, scream, throw stuff. I've been in a lot of situations where I only felt like I was really endangered like one time. I might have been scared and wigged out, and I've always walked out. I just turn around and I'll walk out if anything starts happening. But the one time I basically was on some private property and I shot at a possum. I was coyote hunting, so my rifle scope was zoomed, sighted for several 100 yards away, and I shot something that was like 10 feet away, and I missed. And I'm like, dang it, my hunt's over with. And I'm walking up back to the house, and I hear this guy yelling at me, and I'm like, oh, why is the neighbor yelling at me? And like, everyone knows we have coyotes out here. It's a problem. And I hear him yelling at me, but something don't sound right. I was like, what the heck? And I hear him again. It's like, but he's not speaking English. It's caveman talk. It's mumbling.
Oh no.
And I'm like, whoa. And I'm like, I'm flabbergasted because I just can't believe this is happening. And there's like, if anyone else was standing, there'd be like 4 different households that could hear this thing right now. It's in the country setting, but it's close enough. It's echoing, like it's loud. So it comes down the wood line towards me, paralleling me, but towards the wood line. And I hear this female jump in. She starts talking this sing-song talk, flirty, bird chirping, all sorts of stuff. She's all, and then they start bickering back and forth like a married couple. And then they're coming. And then all of a sudden they're quiet. But they're right straight in line with me now. They came down the wood line, and they're like 100 yards out, 50 yards out, straight in the wood line. And then for 15 minutes, it's silent, and I hear little creaks and little, what I call slinking through the woods. They're not sneaking through, they're slinking through, because I think they're on all fours for my experience now. But at that time, I didn't know. I think they're on all fours. They make less sound. The weight disperses on 4 contact points instead of 2 points, so it leaves less tracks. Right. And also, if you're scanning up for Bigfoot and it's down past your waist or below your knees, you're not looking in the right spot.
Right.
So I got freaked out. I could feel the heavy presence and stuff, and I armed myself up by the bed because and you know, it's like, who am I gonna walk in this house and tell my girlfriend? You know, it's like, okay. You know, like, she's gonna believe me. Yeah, let's go back outside. Maybe you'll hear him. Yeah, that I felt pretty bad. I felt like he was coming down to teach me a lesson, and his wife was like, "No, Bob, don't go down there, Bob. He has a gun, Bob. I know he's pissed you off, Bob, but you know it's not worth it. It's not worth it." Because that's the emotion. That's what I felt.
Funny.
He was speaking English, but the emotions and stuff, it was very human-like, but it wasn't English. But you could feel like this emotion. Like, he was mad. He's yelling at me. He was telling me from across the way. Like,
He was probably
So I
thinking,
felt-
"Hey, you jerk, what the hell were you just shooting at?"
and it wasn't normal. That was abnormal in that area. And he was and so it scared me. It frightened me because he didn't care who was hearing him at that point. And it's like, whoa, what is he going to do? And he's coming at me. You know, like, what was he going to do if his wife or woman wasn't there? He was going to come right up towards me. He was gonna do something scary. I can tell you that. And he did not care that I had a gun, a rifle, a 223, bolt action. So he did not care. He did not care about that at all. So that was the most scariest time, because it's like, whoa. And I've had other times where I've had a rifle on the shoulders, a big rifle on the shoulders, and it did not matter. I've had encounters with Jason Kenzie, actually, up in UP.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
So my little excursions are nothing compared to Blake's.
Well, all you have to do is just go out there. You know, a lot of
I
people
know.
are scared, and
I know. I was
you
giving
just
you a hard time.
the more experience you go and sit, and that's why I say, you know, you really just wait till something really just slaps you in the face, because it's not the little stuff that you want to get worked up on, but trust me, that there's
Right.
going to be times where it's like, it's undeniable. Oh my gosh. And that's what we're after.
Right.
Because then you can't nitpick it as much as a story or anything else. And
It's so
Right.
funny that you say that. Like I said, I normally go out out in the daytime. So we had a little weekend adventure kind of excursion, whatever it was, and we went to our place that we could go investigate at, and he and the owner of the property went on their little excursion, and they hit the power lines, and of course, you know what we've been told or whatever, the energy from the power lines, the Bigfoot kind of hang out there. And I was like, and we use walkie-talkie, plus we have our cell phones and all that stuff, and he comes over on the walkie-talkie and goes, "Hey, we hit the power lines." And I said, "I hope you're taking pictures." And we were talking back and forth. Well, what he doesn't realize is I was recording. And I'm sitting there and I'm just talking, you know, talking to the trees, talking to the forest and all that stuff. And I was like, I hear something behind me. I hear footsteps, and it's broad daylight. And I'm like, okay. And then I kept talking. I said, "I don't know if you guys can hear this, but I can hear footsteps." And I keep talking to the camera and whatnot. And all of a sudden, it caught my attention to the point where I'm like, I turned around and went, "Hello?"
yeah.
And no one's there. I mean, I get up and walk around, and nothing was there. And so I'm sitting, I went back and sat back down, and I'm like, and I was like, I sign off the video, and I walkie-talkie to him. I said, "I'm hearing footsteps."
Yeah, what she didn't realize at that time was, at the same time she was hearing something behind her, there was a juvenile Bigfoot that was actually hiding off the cliff,
Didn't even see
down
him.
below her feet, and it was like just pressed up against the sides, trying to get as close to the side as possible, because where she was filming, that's where I caught a glimpse. When I went back over her footage, this thing is looking right up at her, and she doesn't even know that something is just right there. And like you said, at night, just imagine that situation with no lights.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what makes them more bold. That's in my
Yeah.
experience. They'll come closer. They'll do crazy stuff. And in the encounter with me and Jason up in the UP, um, they got real close, right up on us, and we didn't hear them at all. So basically, I actually, I'm going to share something. Can I share? Can I share some
Sure.
soundbite with you guys
Yeah.
from this particular camp out up in the UP?
Sure.
Yeah.
Share it.
I think I got a couple of them, but hopefully I get the. Um, okay, give me a second.
Yeah, while you're
Yeah,
go ahead.
go
I
ahead.
was gonna say while you're
No, no,
doing
you go.
that, Blake, I'm gonna get some shout outs here. There's a lot of people that came in while we were. Hey Jane, how's it going? Chiro Sounds.
Good to see you, Jane. Hope you're feeling better.
Nathan, it's good to see you, buddy. Welcome in. John T, thank you so much for being here. Again, Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot, good to see you. Figgy, hola, que pasa, girlfriend? How you doing? I think that's it. I don't know if anybody else. Emmy, hello, Emmy. Grace, it's good to see you. Oh my goodness. Hey Grace, thank you so much for your donation too the other day,
Yes,
honey.
thank
You
you
did
very
not
much
have
for
to
that.
do that. Very blessed. Thank you, thank you. So yeah.
All right. I can't share this one. All right. I guess we'll just do this. And then if you guys bring it up, I'll switch it over to the.
Okay.
All right.
So this was a particular sound that was caught during a night investigation. We were all at camp and stuff, and this is right down the path and stuff where me and Jason Kenzie had our encounter. So I'll play this.
Yeah, sound like this way, right?
Yeah. Oh.
That's the truck. Yeah, sound like this way, right?
Yeah. Oh.
All right, so that was a long call howl. At the very beginning, it's enhanced and stuff. And so in this particular camp out, we had the She Squatchers, we had Robert Kreider, we had Adam Davis there. In this particular camp, this was actually our permanent camp in the woods, several miles from the cabin. So there's only a few researchers there, like Robert Kreider, me, James, some people from Texas and stuff. So we were having activity a couple of nights. And so when I got my recorder out there, I got to go change the batteries and stuff. I asked who wants to go, who wants to come and go with me, and Jason's the only one who volunteered, and which is good because he had the camera, a good camera. So we went out there, went all the way down to the recorder and stuff, did some filming and stuff, came back. As we were coming back, we noticed that there's these 3 twigs. They're all kind of just broken and hanging there right in front of our face, like we're walking right on it. It's like we got to dodge and weave. And I made the comment and stuff. It's like, this wasn't here before. I'm pretty sure that this was broken for us to notice.
Yeah, we're having a little difficulty with the page. It kind of froze up on us. So
Okay.
Go ahead and continue on.
All right. So we ran into those 3 broken twigs. Branches that were in our face, and I said, I think they made this for us, maybe they're close by and stuff. And basically we start walking just a little bit, and I hear something. I hear sounds like a commotion. All right, looks like give me a. I'm sure they'll be back. Can you guys still hear me and stuff? I want to make sure everything's not too frozen. So I hear the brushing of the leaves and stuff, and I turn around. Yeah, are you guys able to still hear me? All right, so you guys can still. All right. I know they're trying to. I know you guys are trying to be right back and stuff.
It kind of
There.
kicked us out.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all good. I remember
Technology.
all the fun.
Technology. Gotta love it, right?
The fun, yeah, yeah. It's always StreamYard that's so fun. So, like I was saying, I heard the commotion of their leaves. This movement, blatantly obvious movement with me and Jason, and I whip this gun off of my shoulders and get it pointed right in the direction as fast as I can. But at the ground, so I pointed at the ground, but towards the direction of where I think the threat of a bear could be. There's wolves up there. We've seen wolf tracks, bear tracks, and big cat tracks up in the UP in this particular spot. So I'm expecting anything, ready for anything. As soon as I point my gun in that direction, we hear scattering, multiple scattering that go both directions and stuff.
It's okay. Here.
And very quickly, from my experience and my instinctual nature was telling me that this is Sasquatch activity. They sound like Sasquatches scurrying away. And I re-shoulder my rifle. And moments after that, we start seeing him and stuff. Jason starts to film. And you can watch the full raw encounter, uncut on my channel. It's called Jason Kenzie at Blake Duescher's Bigfoot Encounter in the UP. You could watch Jason's documentary, Searching for Sasquatch. I think it's part 3, part 2 and 3, or 3 and 4. There's two of them, part 1, part 2. But the full encounter is on my counter. Is on my channel. Sorry. They reveal themselves to us. Basically, we could see some eye shine behind a tree, and we see a silhouette. And at first, my head is on a swivel because I hear one and even make a comment to Jason in the video. I think there's a few of them because I'm hearing something. But we see the eye shine and stuff, and I'm thinking, okay, well, it could be a raccoon, it could be a bear, because it's just on the side of the tree and it's kind of small. It's only like 3 feet off the ground and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple moments pass by, and all of a sudden there's another one, and it's about 7 to 8 feet up off the ground, peeking behind the tree. And again, I'm looking at this and I'm looking around, and all of a sudden, we're looking, and Jason is talking through his camera for the documentary, and the one on the bottom goes like this, and you see the silhouette. You see this, it goes like up here, and then all of a sudden it goes huge crest up here in the back of it. And I was like, oh my God, that's not a wolf. That's not a bear. That's definitely not a raccoon. Right. That is a massive head of a Sasquatch. It has a crest like a gorilla would, a forehead and then the crest. And I was really caught off guard. There's 2 of them. I make the comment, I think there's 3 of them because there's one circling right here. I hear it.
Mm-hmm.
And, Jason is kind of freaking out a little bit. And there's a point where I think Jason hits some bushes, and it scares him. He freaks him out. He's like, ah. And I put my hands up between them both, and I kind of laugh and chuckle. Again, because we're kind of de-escalated the situation.
Right.
So I laugh because it's funny. And I think Bigfoot can understand that. I think they know what's funny and stuff if they're human enough.
Mm-hmm.
In this situation, I think it helped. So me and Jason we don't say anything, but we both at the same time kind of start moving towards them because we want to get them on camera. Our headlights is not as bright. I had a really good one that died, so I'm using this cheap one that Jason had, and we can't really see them on camera. So as we approach, I start singing a little lullaby and stuff, I start trying to sing in Native American greeting to him, and Jason starts going singing like la 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 la, and we're trying to bravely go over there, but we're trying to express that we're friendly. But the only way I could think of is just to sing something nice, just to be a melody.
Right.
And so we walked up towards them, and they scattered. And we walked up towards the spot and looked, and there was a pretty good gap where you could walk, but there's woods everywhere. There's plants, we're not hearing anything. It's, we don't hear nothing. And we're talking. Jason turns the camera on himself. He's explaining, and he turns towards me. And I had just looked towards this direction, literally. My flashlight and stuff is looking, and I look this way, and there's this eyeball that just, whoop, a single eyeball is just staring at us.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just looking right there, and it's close enough to where, we should have been able to see something, I think. And then when we turn around, we walk back, and Jason turns the camera again. You can see that eyeball still over there looking at us as we're walking down the trail.
Yeah.
We stop at the structure of the tree break, and I make the comment, I think they just made this for us. And, we might have just walked up on it. And then Jason's talking to himself. He looks at me. He's looking. It's almost like he sees something, but he's not quite sure. He looks at me. He takes a couple steps, and then you can see it on his face, his micro expression. He's just like, he reboots himself. You can see it. It's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
He freaks out, and he's like, oh my God, I seen it. I just seen it. The spider crawled across the trail. And he said it was standing up on the trail. It dropped down, and spider crawled across the trail.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, how big was it? What did it look like? Where is it? And I'm looking where he said it. It's like right there. I didn't hear nothing. We didn't hear nothing on the sound, nothing on the video. You can't hear nothing walking, spider crawling. Right. And it's kind of freaky. So long story short, basically, I'm like, okay, let's go back to camp. There's more people, more equipment. Maybe we can get something. No one really knows where we're at. So it's not really a good situation. And it's intense. It's like, this is pretty crazy. I don't know what else what they're going to do. But I thanked them. I said, because technically I did ask, I said, we just want to see you.
Right.
And then Jason did actually see one. So I thanked them. And I said, come back to us where more people are.
Mm-hmm.
And we did have one that come by and had those sounds at camps. And so I'll play another one if you guys want to.
Sure.
Sure. I like this.
Yeah, let me get it ready.
Yeah, while you're getting that ready, like you're saying, they understand us. They completely can't understand what we say, because I've had that interaction, asking them if there was a cat in my video, and one said directly back to me, said, yeah. Just out of the blue, just like, yeah. And then all the while he was standing behind me, probably about 20 yards behind me. And then right after that is when I got his eye shine on camera. And this thing comes around and it likes to interact with our cats, believe it or not. So, they can be a gentle giant when they want to be. And then they pick and choose who they communicate with. And that's just in my experience. But yeah, it's interesting to get an interaction from these things, no matter how minute it is.
I'm gonna say hello to Ramona and John, our brother, and Clough.
Hey,
good
Ramona,
to see everybody.
John, Clough, good to see y'all. All right, let's get this up on the screen.
All right, let me get it going. All right, so this is another vocalization from the primitive camp out in the woods up the UP.
Another one. Yep, you hear that? Which way is that? Right behind you. Another one. Yep, you hear that? Which way is that? Right behind you.
Wow.
I'm glad you guys could hear that. Sometimes it doesn't. You guys can't hear it, or StreamYard doesn't like to play it.
Right. No,
Interesting.
we heard it. It was a little faint, but yeah, definitely you could hear. That those are the things that I like to collect when I go out. It's just the the faintest sounds can tell a story. Um, a lot of the times,
Yeah.
you'll have nothing for hours, and then you go over your audio, and then all of a sudden something shows up, and you're like, well, I didn't hear it when I was out there, but there it is. You know, that's I get excited over that kind of stuff, those discoveries.
Yeah, exactly. And you can always put those audio on into like sound graphs and stuff. You get spectrograms, I should say.
Hmm.
Um, which some people, like I said, they might not be able to hear it, but on the spectrogram you can see it, and then you can measure it, the frequency rates, the hertz rates.
Yep.
So that is important and stuff, because there's a lot of I've been thankfully, I feel grateful enough that I have evidence that shows like these calls and stuff, and they're very distinct, long tone calls and stuff,
Yep.
not like coyotes that go. When you have coyote calls and they're packed, they're all over the place with these lines and stuff.
Yeah.
But these lines are just solid, straight, thick lines. And sometimes I have. It depends on how close the creature is to the recorder.
Right.
So it's gonna look more intense, or it's gonna slightly look different. I got calls and stuff, knocks. We have different knocks where there's something hits it, it breaks apart the stick, and you hear the stick fall on the ground. My buddy Tyler had that recorded. I got a recording of something that you could hear it hit the tree, and then you hear it running away, and it's awesome and stuff, because deer don't have hands to pick up a stick and stuff. So I love audio recordings and stuff, because it's easy to just go set them out. $50 you can go buy one, put it in a plastic bag so it doesn't get wet, put it out there for however long it's going to last, go and take it back, and then go look at it and stuff, and then have fun, because it's like a little mystery. You never know what you're going to get. So
Yeah.
you get in there, and then you learn about it, and soon enough, in my opinion, you'll get some crazy stuff that's like, oh my god, what is this? And you get intrigued, and then it's like, maybe it'll happen again. Then you can figure out, how often do they come around to that recorder? And I am confident enough that I know in one particular spot they leave stuff. They're doing this all on purpose, and it's like, one of these times the recorder's not going to be out there all night. I will be out there all night, and they're not going to expect it. And hopefully I come back to tell everyone about it. But so getting used to getting this Pavlovian idea of getting used to, getting out, going out there the same way, and then all of a sudden I'm going to change it up. Now it's going to be a little different, unexpected. Hopefully piques interest, curiosity.
Yeah, there was this one time here at home. I had set out some chocolate wafer bars, right, for gifts, and these things, they weren't touching them, So I go ahead and I leave my trail camera out on one end of the property behind the house, and it's at the 6-foot level, and I have it pointing in the direction where both areas where I left the chocolate bars could be seen. So the next morning I get up and I get the footage off of there, and I see our cat eating on something that's on the ground, but it's not one of the wafers. And then as soon as I see the cat eating something off the ground with his back turned towards the camera, there's something that's standing right next to the camera, just behind it, and it's just chawing away on something. Just
Well, it's not your cat.
yeah. See, that's where, not too long after that, that's when I got that one on camera, on the audio. it didn't come through on the audio for the camera. It came through as static.
Yeah.
Right. But people that were watching it live saw my reaction, and my reaction was when I said, "Is that a cat?" Then I'm like, "Did you hear that?" Something just answered my question. So this thing that I caught the eye shine after I heard from it, and I turned, was around the 7 foot mark. Okay, so this thing behind the trail cam, being that I could hear it chewing on something, that to me, it's not absolute proof, but that to me shows that if it's interacting with my cat one night, then this cat is standing or crouching and eating something in front of something that has their vocal cord right next to the camera. So I'm thinking, yeah, if I have it at the 6 foot mark, then it's approximate to the height of the thing that I had caught.
Yeah.
So I'm like, knowing that the cat, the cat immediately when I caught it on camera that one night, the eye shine from it, and my cat comes walking around, and this thing's still standing there about 20 yards away. It's still standing there watching me as the cat comes around, and I'm like, "Oh, hey, Morris," and I turn, and the thing's still standing there staring. Well, this thing, it just shows you that they interact with us inside or outside the forest realms. They're not afraid to go into urban areas. So that's my next question. Have you ever had an encounter, whether it's Bigfoot, Dogman, all the above, something that didn't belong in an urban area but yet
is there?
Have you ever had that kind of encounter?
Oh yeah. I've seen UFOs fly over towns in Michigan and stuff. There are several other people seen it, and these Bigfoot encounters, or they're not far away from people's houses or civilization. Up in the UP, yeah, you're far away from people. It's pretty remote. But here in Michigan, lower Michigan, you're not just. You're never more than a couple miles from any resource or people or town or anything like that. So they are around people all the time. And actually, there was the Monroe Bigfoot, the Monroe Monster for the 1960s is a well-documented Bigfoot encounters, multiple encounters and stuff. And this last year, there was a brand new encounter with a father and son. They'd seen a Sasquatch jump out of a tree and run up the embankment. And a couple days after that was reported, I went down to that exact location and found a foot track.
Oh, wow.
So, and it is in the heart of basically Monroe. It's a city, basically there's a creek and there's some swamp and some wilderness areas. And it goes all the way to Lake St. Clair, Lake Erie and stuff. And there's a history of Sasquatch sightings and stuff. So yeah, that's an urban area. I got a track from that, and I went live in the location where it happened. So yeah, they are in urban areas. They eat out of garbages and stuff. They're seen. They eat pets and stuff. So it's good that you got a friendly one, because sometimes they don't like dogs, or you get one that's just maybe not used to humans. It doesn't really give a crap, and we'll do stuff, take stuff.
I know it doesn't like our dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because they usually alert you to their presence, and they don't like that. And another reason I want to get back to, the one that was on the cliff edge, hiding and stuff, and it was like, what is it doing? Why is it like trying to be so sneaky like that? Myself and some other researchers, think that they're primitive kind of people, and some people think that they're like Native Americans. They're counting coup, and they're going to do these things as training, as for themselves to be able to do, because they're around people all the time, so they have to be able to sneak, interact, and do things. And so counting coup kind of interactions, what we call it, where there's no other rhyme reason to do it unless they are practicing to like grab people, which is pretty nefarious. But like counting coup, they get up there, they practice these skills, because they have to learn to probably read people's emotions, their facial experiences, expressions, where they're looking at, to understand how we operate. So when we're looking, it's like they drop on all fours, they hide, and they get really used to people on their phones, so they probably just sneak around us. And we're not like Native Americans. We're not like colonial Americans. We're modern Americans who, at 10 o'clock, we're in bed, we take the dogs out, that's it. TV's on. No one's going outside.
Yeah.
There's no one out there doing patrols. Yeah. And that's why we're having the interaction. That's exactly it. Because we are the only ones that go out there that are non-hunters. Hunters, they look like hunters. They're engaged in hunting activity. We're Bigfoot researchers. We're not dressed the same. We go out there with cameras and stuff, and we're trying to interact with them. There's no other group of people that are doing that, especially if in a friendly manner. They might have interactions with people. It might not be good,
right.
But so I think that piques their interest. They know this is different. These people are different. Like they know that we're here. They're looking for us, but they're not hunting us. They're not trying to shoot us with guns and stuff like that. It's like it's this weird concoction that I think piques their interest. And that's my philosophy. That's what works for me.
Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot says, I don't think the Bigfoots are in the time course we are. Totally different life. That's what they just said. So that's kind of cool. And then David, way earlier, or Northern Alabama Cryptid. I need to find that question. Hang on, because he's not in chat no more. He had to go because of the weather.
Yeah.
I'll find it. Keep talking to him. I'll find it.
It's been my experience. I've had several encounters where I've had rocks thrown at me, from a short distance away, from a long distance away, and each time it hasn't been thrown at me to hit me. It's been either thrown at my feet or thrown in my general direction. What are your thoughts on when something like that would, what they mean by doing something like that?
Well, they're definitely letting you know that it's there. It's probably a warning and stuff. Most people are most non-Bigfooters would probably think it's a squirrel, so they're kind of dumb about it. And if they wanted to hit you with a rock, they would. Obviously, if they can get it close enough to you and not hit you, would you trust a lot of people to do that same experiment, to try to get it close to you but not actually hit you?
Yeah, that's one thing I'm not gonna.
You might want to pick particular people. Yeah. They are warning you. Obviously, and some researchers think that it's deadly use of a weapon technically, because if you throw a rock and I hit you in the head, it's deadly force with a weapon. So some people think that that's a very bad thing, but they're trying to herd you out, and most of the times, it's not. I mean, if they were extremely violent and deadly, we would all have videotape of them attacking or screaming and or killing people.
True.
So I think they kind of just experienced how scared people are of the dark, and it just doesn't really take much to scoot them out of the woods, even during the day.
Right.
Throwing rocks, hitting trees, making little calls, maybe walking around. If that's enough to get 90% of people out of the woods with zero conflict, then why would they do anything else? If there's no conflict and you can get people to just go away and it works, majority of the time, there's no reason to go violent, to attack, to eat people. And then that causes hundreds of more people to come searching around with guns and dogs. And it's like, I think there are some individuals that don't care. They'll eat people, whatever. But there's a lot of individuals who are more urbanized to where it's like, they've learned to coexist and thrive right underneath our noses. They don't want to cause a trouble. But when Bigfoot researchers are the ones who go out there and try to push and prod, I think they escalate and they will become curious, but it's never in a negative way. But you should always listen to the warnings and your gut feelings.
Right.
Because I've had bowling ball sized rocks get thrown into a stream. The Allegan Part 2, you can watch that. We've had hissings and, they were trying to freak us out a little bit, and they were freaking the guy who was with me out. And this, it's like that. If this bowling ball sized boulder would have hit us like it did, we'd been crumpled, broken, bladdered, spewing blood, screaming. Okay. Okay, like
I know, that's one.
Hear that? It's like, okay, I think maybe we should like go back. Because that's what it's like. I mean, it's not, if they hit you with a golf ball sized ball in the head, they could kill you. I mean, something was like that or bigger. I actually have documentation of the spot where my recorder's at, again, of this massive boulder that got moved. And I'm a pretty strong guy. I don't want to brag a lot, but I lifted it up. I couldn't walk with it. I couldn't move it. I had to roll it back into place. So I rolled it back into place where it's supposed to be. It hasn't been moved yet. There was no evidence. Like when I rolled it, you could see the path of where I rolled the boulder. But there was no path like this. And so it's amazing. It's amazing to me how strong they are. I'm always reminded, and it's kind of scary. It's like, wow, they can really sneak up right on you. They're like 2 to 3 times the size of you, size and weight wise. They can just grab you by the neck and like that, you're dead. It's like, and throw stuff at you. And you're out here running around like a toddler with a flashlight, tripping over stuff. You can't run anywhere. You're not going to go fast. Like these things are going circles around you. And it's like, yeah, anything could happen if they really wanted to. But in almost every single case, besides the time I got yelled at, it's never really been crazy enough to just like, oh my God, I'm getting the gun out. I'm scared. My life's in danger. I'm never coming back out here again. It's never been like that.
Right. And then, I found the question for you. Is Blake, are you familiar with the Friends with Monsters? I guess they're up close near you, in Michigan somewhere. I don't know exactly where you are.
Friends with Monsters? I don't think so, no.
Okay. And then
Friends with Monsters, no.
Ramona asks, let me get back down to it. Ramona asked, where did it go? Where did it go? I believe she's, which native language do you speak, or you spoke? What language did you speak?
Well, since I'm based in Michigan, I spoke one of the three tribes of the Council of Fire, which is Ottawa, Chippewa, and Potawatomi. So basically, they're all Algonquin language groups, but they're just different by the different tribes and different regions and stuff. But they're all Algonquin, same words. It's like there's a cultural hero called Nanajibo, and then the more west you go, it becomes, instead of N, it becomes a W for the name. So it's the same word, it's just the N's replaced with a W. The pronunciation's different. My advice to anyone who wants to learn Native American languages and stuff is to learn the Native American groups that originate in your state and area, and then learn that and stuff. If you learn Cherokee and you're over on the West Coast, I don't think that's really going to help you much, because they're that way, East Coast. So, and then learn the stories and stuff.
Yes.
There's too many, without going into a long story, there's a lot of cryptid or spiritual creatures from Native American folklore. They get rounded up into the Bigfoot category, but they're clearly something else, ghosts, demons, spiritual animals, creatures that are like 200 feet tall giants instead of a Sasquatch giant and stuff like that. So just be prepared, to read these stories, but also keep in mind that they might not be described as Sasquatch, but some other cryptid creature or spiritual creature. A lot of their philosophies where a lot of these creatures were, spiritual. Even all the animals were spiritual creatures and stuff like that. So it's more spiritual aspects to those stories, those um, teachings and stuff like that.
Yeah, you will want to get familiar with the legends around your area, so that these things that you do run into when you're out in the world, um, in those areas that you studied, you'll have more of an explanation. I'm sorry, an explanation of what you heard or what you saw. A lot of times more than just being like, oh yeah, it was Bigfoot, or oh yeah, it was a dog man. No, it could have been something from your area that the indigenous people have talked about for centuries. So, yeah, yeah,
I agree.
you made a good point, because it goes back to, like you were saying, you can't just come out and say, oh, it was Bigfoot, because there's all kinds of things, that explanations on what it could be. It's just doing your research. Do your research. That includes boots on the ground, but that also includes going on the internet, getting in touch with the local tribes, finding out about their stories, their history, their legends, and then there's also the it's not just the indigenous that experience these things. We go back in the history of the white settlers. Even they have their own stories, and it coincides with the indigenous, because they had to find out about those things just like we do here in modern day. Those of us that have never experienced something like that, for the first time hearing it or seeing it can be overwhelming. So if you know your history of your area, it's always best to look into it. Um, you'll get explanations that you never would have thought of, just by going out and running into these things. Knowing ahead of time what you could run into is a lot better than going out blind. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And it just shows, that there's, like you said, there's a history of it and stuff, so you're, we're not all crazy and stuff, there's a lot of, I got people that make fun of me still, oh, you're looking for Bigfoot.
Yeah,
It's like,
it comes with the
yeah,
territory.
come out with me. I bet you'll be saying that after too long.
Yeah.
And of course they never do,
No,
but
because
it's not real,
they probably
right?
would.
It's like, okay.
They probably would have peed their pants if they actually go out,
Oh,
especially
yeah.
at night.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I'm
Yeah, I
actually,
just laugh. laugh.
I'm
Yeah.
actually looking forward to going out. Just Arcane Adventures is actually going to come down to Oklahoma here this fall. So, and she's like, Christy, does that mean I get to take you out on your first night hunt? I said, only if you watch my 6. And so I'm
Yeah,
excited. We're going to go, I believe, northeastern part of the state. I believe is where we're headed.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm excited.
Great. Yeah, Jess is awesome. She came to one of my conferences, Bigfoot camp out and stuff, and was out in the woods and stuff during the night investigation, and she's not afraid to get out there and stuff and
Nope.
rough it and
Oh,
and persevere through anything that's in her way. So yeah, it's gonna be awesome and stuff, and
yeah,
with a little luck,
we're excited.
maybe some things will happen.
Hey, I'm game for this. I'm actually excited. And yet I
Yeah.
don't like to camp. I am not one of these people to pitch a tent out in the woods in the dark. Nope. Give me a camper, a glamper, whatever,
Yeah,
a cabin with a toilet, and you name it. I'm not one of these to go sleep on the ground.
Yeah. So, like,
Yeah.
the first time that I went with her, and we did an overnight. This is when we first met. We first met Red Dirt Cryptids.
Oh my god.
We stayed the night out in their little research area, and I was all gung ho. I'm like, I want to put a tent out here. I want to sleep out here, and we had campfire going, and
I locked myself in the
she
van.
locked herself in the van because the first thing was
Yeah.
we were the first vehicle to pull in, and we went all the way to the end of the drive. So we're at that campsite, and we're the first vehicle in, and then everybody's parking behind us. So she's freaking out, being like, "How are we gonna get out?" Like, well,
Yeah.
I did
Gotta
not
have
have
easy
a
escape.
choice in the matter.
it's just, you know, she had the perfect viewpoint because she was staying in the driver's seat in the van, and there's nothing but dark woods all in front of her. and the guys that were there were saying, yeah, that's the trail that we watch, because we've had several we've heard several things out there, and we've also had tracks coming in from there, and so it makes her freak out more. And here I am, I'm wanting to hang out at the campfire, and I'm hearing all these stories from all the local guys around the Talihina area, and she has the window up, and I'm pretty sure she could still hear everything we were saying, because every once in a while I go up to her window and try not to sneak up to the window because I didn't want her screaming and
Not
yelling.
scared much.
But yeah, I go up to the window, and then she's like, "I heard what you were saying." She's like,
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
Kentucky Bigfoot wants to take snipe hunting. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's about the same thing. At least we get more activity. We get rewards. Yeah, I personally I kind of like tent because I don't want to wake up and have something staring at me, because that'll freak me out. You know, at least I can't, got that semi-security of, well, I can't see it. It's fine. I'm going to go to sleep. I'm too tired. I've already had it. I'm going to go to bed.
yeah. Then you wake up in the middle of the night, and you got to go to the restroom, so you're unzipping that tent, and all of a sudden you got this thing staring right down in the tent at you. I've had that happen.
Yeah. You never know. You never know with. I mean, there's quite a few different stories and stuff of like people being peed on when they're in tents and stuff, and non-Bigfoot people, because they don't collect the pee and they don't try to do nothing with the evidence. But there's a lot of different people who have been scared by these things, and then they laugh. The Sasquatch is heard laughing because they're scared, or they're running away, or they just got peed on, and it's like horrible. And it's like,
that been my experience.
That's a mean joke.
Yeah, it's always been my experience when I've been camping in a tent. When those things do come around, they have not yet tried to move my tent or hit it, shake it. They walk around it, and then they'll stand and they'll observe. But of course, I don't know what's going on when I'm sleeping, because I can be a hard sleeper, so I could be hard asleep, and they're shaking the tent, and I'm still not going to move.
I mean, especially if you've been out hiking all day. I mean, once you hit that pillow, that rough ground, it feels soft enough for bed. And I'm out. I always have a recorder going in the tent and other places. So, but I've caught stuff. The video is called the Waterloo Expedition. A couple years ago, this video was. We had a big expedition. Had different stuff happen, actually. But after a long night of Bigfooting, I was the last one to go to bed, like usual. And I put my recorder on. You hear me. I'm on my phone for like 5 minutes, and then I set it off. And I go to sleep. You instantly hear me sleeping because my breathing changes, and I kind of snore a little bit. And a couple minutes later, this tree gets pushed over or broken or something. And I go, and I'm still sleeping. And on the recorder, you hear I react to it, but I'm sleeping still. I just sleep right through it. And it's like that, nothing else happens at night. But I assume that they wait for you to go to sleep, and then they start making these sounds on purpose. And tents don't really offer much protection. I always have, one of the last thoughts at night is like, what if they just grab a big old tree and just punk, and I'm inside a bag. A grocery bag pre ready to just take home, and it's like, all right, stop, Blake. You gotta go sleep. Come on, that's not gonna happen. You know?
Yeah, I've scared a few people when they ask me about that. Like, if I take my tent out in the woods, am I safe? I'm like, I'll be like, have you ever watched Friday the 13th?
That's about right. It is. No, it's true. You're not safe in a tent. You're not.
Nope.
But you're not safe in a car either. But a car feels a little safer.
It's a little bit more difficult for them to.
I mean, I
get
have
at
a
you in a
horn.
car,
I have lights. I have.
Right, you can drive away, which helps. But
Well, I
windows
couldn't
are
that
not quick
night.
enough.
I was stuck. I could not. There was like 3 cars
Right.
behind me. The people in front. The fire. Yeah, I couldn't move. I was just stuck there.
But with more people, it really helps. That's why I love going out with people, and
Right.
because it's not as scary. It's fun and stuff, and it's adventure, and you have other witnesses there to have the interaction with. So it's not just you guys or you by yourself. You have witness. It's not you're not hallucinating stuff. It's they see it too. They hear it.
They hear
they're
it.
interacting. Yeah, we're not crazy. And I try to invite everyone go out, or I try to go out with different people and stuff, and because it's good. It's good to go with the right people, though. You don't want someone screaming, crying wolf,
Right.
or faking stuff. We've
Right.
kind of had that, You get bad people, you experience stuff, you grow from it. But so you really you've got to trust the people that you're with for your safety, but for also the integrity of the research. That they're not lying to you. They're not doing something that is leading you down a false path of fantasy, really, instead of real research, real interaction.
Right.
And so I'm a little picky about who I take with me to my places, but if anyone wants to invite me to their places and go, I will happily bring all the stuff, go, and keep an open mind about whatever happens.
Mm-hmm.
You have a message from Elder Bearclaw in the chat. Blake, can you see the chat?
Yeah, I don't.
That one.
Yep.
No, I'll bring it up on screen.
I know Bosho, which is hello, and I'm not sure what that middle word is, but Manado. It could be Great Spirit, I think. I'm not a professional Native American talker, okay, but I do know Bosho. I said Bosho Jana, Elder Medicine Bear Claw.
So I wanted to.
I think it's been a while, but I think I gave him a similar greeting. If not, he'll call me out. It's fine. I need a little practice.
Yeah, I think we all do. I know I've got a little bit of Choctaw in me, and I don't know much at all except for halito, and which means hello. So, hey, I've got a lot of learning to do. And then of course my daughter, she is dating a Cherokee young man, and so he's been telling us a little bit of his native language, so which is amazing in itself. And so it's all fun. It's amazing. And he actually said he had an experience the other day outside, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
I was hoping he'd get on here too and talk a little bit, but maybe next week we'll see what Daniel has got going on. But
Yeah.
But hey, Blake, we have 20 minutes. What's coming up for you, buddy? What are you doing? What you got planned?
I have too much audio to go through, not enough time with work and everything else related. Like I said, this Friday, this last weekend, I just got brand new audio.
Oh wow!
Actually, I'll show you guys this. I'll show you guys the spectrogram right now, since I have it pulled up. Basically,
Wait.
I'm not gonna play it though.
Right.
But I will show you guys the spectrogram of it because this is brand new stuff.
Okay.
And so my plans are I got to look through all the recordings that I've been getting and haven't been gone through of this exact area to see if I can predict exactly if they're going to be there the next time, and if instead of the recorder, it's going to be me there, hopefully camping all night. So let me get this up ready for you guys. This one I think is it.
Tennessee, Kentucky. Bigfoot says, Blake, if you ever get down to Kentucky or East Tennessee, come and visit our foots. That's what he says.
And then they said, we also know a giant, but the topic isn't normal yet.
So they're inviting you to Kentucky.
Yeah, you know,
Tennessee.
I would love to. There's a couple people in Kentucky and stuff that want me to go out there with them and stuff, so I might have to make a couple trips or one big old trip.
Mm-hmm.
But
it'd be fun. I want to go to Kentucky myself. I want to go to the mountains. I'm a mountain girl. If I could live in the mountains, I would.
Yeah, I drove to Florida for the Bigfoot expedition once a day, and going through Kentucky, and you can tell why there's a lot of sightings and there's hollers and these mountains and hilltops, and it's like, well, there's no one going out there at nighttime, you know.
Right.
Bigfoot researching and all that, so
it would be fun.
So, did the thing pop up?
No, sir, I did not.
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Let me try to do it again.
I might have to bring it up here on the side, so try it again.
Yeah. Here we go.
There it is. Right there.
Okay, yeah, there it is.
It popped up now.
All right, so you guys can see it. Sweet. All right, so that right there, you guys can see. Let me get over. This line right here is the vocalization, and there are actually, yeah, here we go. Let me bring it down. These lines right here. There's a line right here. There's a couple lines in here. They're really faint.
Right.
And then right here. These are massive tree knocks. And the sound of it is a big old thud. It's not even like wood on wood. It sounds like something heavy or like a big old thump. What I describe it is on the job site. I'm an arborist and stuff. So when we fell the trunk of a tree, when it hits the ground, it makes a thud, and this is what it sounds like. And so there's a thud here, a couple thuds here, and then a thud, and then a vocalization that happens after.
Oh, wow.
And it is a single tone that goes straight. It's long. So that is brand new this Friday. And then what happened an hour earlier before this is another vocalization. It's almost kind of like a shout kind of a thing.
Yeah.
A shouting kind of a sound, but deep. It's thick. So you can see the I enhanced it a little bit, so it's a little bit brighter than the other stuff. But you can see this huge line that goes there. So
yeah,
brand new stuff that just happened on Friday. So I'm extremely excited about going to this area. And this is the exact same area where I'll close that. Where they have left stuff on the trail right up to my recorder, including, and I have multiple photographs of broken twigs that are snapped off, broken, placed on trail, hung up, stuff that's in trees, stuff that's woven, twigs and branches that are woven. This little plant bulb was stuck onto a twig branch that's right in my face. I just documented that the day I got the recorder. So when I set the recorder out, that wasn't there. That happened. That was caught on the recorder that night. And when I grabbed it, there was that bulb that was placed there and new things on the trail. So to me, it's more evidence of the pattern that shows there's Sasquatch in the area with the audio, and they see what I'm doing and where I'm going because they're placing stuff on the trail for me to notice them.
Right.
Blatantly obvious. They moved that big boulder. That boulder is 200 plus pounds easily.
Wow.
I can lift it up. I can't walk with it though. Not yet. Maybe if I give it a couple more tries, I'll do it. But and it just shows that physically an average person is not doing that.
Right.
Unless you got some big bodybuilder, strongman guy, an average person is not lifting up this way to do it. I work out. I do with tree industry stuff like that. So man, it was pretty tough, and it's like I can't imagine. So this area is building more and more and more up. So my plan is to go out there, set up for a couple hours or all night, in that particular spot. More audio, brand new thermal camera and stuff. So,
Oh yeah,
just more of the same, really. Just
that's going to be real interesting to watch when you put all that stuff out.
I used to do more shows, and I actually have a lot of evidence, audio evidence and stuff. I mean, like that clip I showed you from the beginning, and that really hasn't been shown on my channel. I actually have a couple different stuff that I kind of want to just put all into one big video of just evidence and sounds and spectrograms and stuff. And there's a lot of stuff that I'm sitting on, and I like to share to other people and stuff. But I want people to come to my areas to experience this different stuff, or their areas,
right,
for the witnesses too. So
right.
I'll be starting the show back up. Maybe have some guests showing more evidence, jumping back into it, doing lives, all that.
Yeah, just let us know whenever you're gonna do something like that, and we'll put the word out.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Because you gotta get the word out, and it's always good to, in my experience, it's always good to reach out to other researchers and be like, hey, can you let your people know that we're about to do this? And I'm like, yeah, because that's what I do, like on my Facebook group page.
Yeah.
I'm like, I let just about any YouTube channel that has to do with cryptids, or any researcher post their stuff on there, just so they have a place to get the word out, saying, hey, I got this going on, come check it out. I think more of us need to do that. There's a lot of people that will start doing that, and then they start having issues with you get
drama.
Hackers, drama.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I've experienced it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, that's why it is it's a community. There's good and bad. There's a little bit of everything and stuff.
Yeah.
And I do see a comment from Elder Medicine in Bear. He says he was in Battle Creek, Michigan, doing an investigation. Next I get a hold of you. Yeah, if you're ever in Battle Creek, I'll hit you up. I'll go there. Yeah, I used to live there on private property and had experiences there. So, yeah, Battle Creek is a place that I definitely can visit and stuff. There's encounters, history encounters over by the Fort Custard area, which is a military training facility. So, and there's big cats that were reported in that same area too.
Oh yeah.
They actually have a big fenced-in forest where no one can really go and stuff. And there's been sightings in there and that kind of stuff by by soldiers and by people who go to the recreational area that's there. And plus, there's areas all around and stuff that have sightings, and the whole state is Bigfoot, just like Oklahoma. The whole state's basically Bigfoot, and although it's a little harder to hide over there where you guys are, but still, they still do it.
Well, it's funny because when I first moved to Oklahoma and started getting interested in the cryptid world, I had not a lot of people. I lived in southwest Oklahoma, the Lawton area, and not a whole lot of people were really into that stuff around there. And then also the researchers that I started getting in touch with from other areas around Oklahoma, they didn't really come around that area because they were saying there's not a whole lot of reports down there, so they're not going to waste their time going down there and doing investigations and coming up empty. But when I started getting out and doing research and filming and all that, and I found out right away that first off, my first encounter being in the city of Lawton, so there's one thing I know that they come around the city. And then I'm branching out and going out to the refuge and having those one-on-one encounters with different creatures, from the spirit side to the physical, all the above. It was just happening with me, and then I started getting in contact with more people that once I put the stuff out there, they were coming forward saying, yeah, this happens out here, this happens, I've seen this. So it happens where you least expect it. No matter what state you live in, there's going to be something out there. There's going to be something out there, whether it's a Bigfoot or other. There's going to be something out there that's going to pique your interest. And if you're wanting to get into the cryptid world, if you're wanting to get into all the above, from UFOs, aliens, to cryptid,
Paranormal.
yeah, the paranormal, do your research. Find out. Go to the library if you have to. Look up past cases that might have been mentioned in the paper. Go, you know where I'm getting at is it's just get out there, do your research, because they are out there.
Yeah, just get started. There's nothing holding anyone back, really. Just get out there and have fun and get started. And pique your interest. And we need more researchers. We need just more researchers all around. Younger generations and all this to find the truth, to get more knowledge, to spread information, to more discussions and stuff. So eventually we find out the truth behind the mystery. And
Right.
it's a lot easier to do that with friends and
Yeah.
than to do that with a bunch of people that don't like each other. So,
And you don't have to go and spend a whole lot of money. You have a camera on your phone, so you have to start from there. Get out there, get that camera rolling, and if you catch something, that's fine. If you take a picture and it's blurry, okay, that's a whole other story, because you have cryptid researchers that take all kinds of really good pictures and they end up being a little blurry. Now, that can't be counted as absolute evidence, but it's still some kind of evidence. So if you're getting out and taking blurry pictures of something that you can't get up close to, that's still one step in the right direction on finding something out there. And somebody that has those experiences and there's blurry pictures, well, get in contact with somebody that might have a little bit better vantage point, because they have a little bit better equipment. And that's where you start making friends and doing collabs and getting involved.
Yes, that's exactly right.
And it expands your research. So don't be afraid to get out there and just get started. If you're really wanting to get started, just do it.
Yeah, go outside and take a drive and take 100 pictures or 1,000 pictures like we do.
Yeah, because you never know what you're going to catch, because there are stuff out there. And that's funny, because there was a researcher, he came to Michigan, he went to a spot and said he was having activity and stuff being thrown, and it's like, I went out the next day to the same spot, and it's like I didn't hear nothing. All of a sudden I hear sploosh stuff in the water. I'm like, oh, look with my thermal, I don't see nothing. Sploosh, and then I see it. There's two beavers in the lake. They're swimming, and then all of a sudden they slap their tails, and it's loud. Sploosh. And so I called the researcher and talked to them. I was like, hey man, not to be a party pooper, but I went there and I experienced this. I caught the animals the beavers on film, on thermal, slapping the water. Do you think that's probably what you guys heard? It's like, well, no, we weren't actually next to the water. We were up at the parking spot and we heard stuff around. And so now, we're going to collaborate and go to do a reenactment and hopefully catch the beavers on thermal while people are at the parking lot, and see if it sounds the same or if it's different. It's an area where there are Bigfoot activity. There's history of it. I think there would be Bigfoot there. But this particular night, again, it's good to know nature, because if you're out next to a beaver pond or beavers and you hear it slap into the water, maybe it's not rocks being thrown. Maybe it's just a beaver slap.
Right.
And yeah, it sucks. And maybe it takes away from an experience someone thought they had. But at the same time, you discover the truth.
Yeah. You're getting
and it's about research. You might not like it, but at least you're prepared to know, okay, I got to be on the lookout for is this beaver habitat? Is this creek bottom that's flowing and stuff? Man, there's probably not beavers in it and stuff, but this lake, yeah, I know there's beavers in it. I got to be mindful if we have rocks being thrown. And it only helps build you up better. It only improves you. It doesn't take away from anything. It's a negative aspect if you think it takes away. It only should improve your aspect, your research. And you got to tell your buddy to let him know so he doesn't think he's having activity, and it's not.
Right.
So,
and if anything, that shows that there is activity of something out there. So if a Bigfoot or a dogman is observant like we are, if they hear something slap the water, they're going to be a little curious as to what it is. So maybe, just maybe, even though somebody's never seen a Bigfoot out there and they're like, oh, it's just beavers. Well, go ahead, go check it out. Take pictures, take video, because you never know. Something could be observing it at the same time you are,
Yeah, and you want to try to if we're trying to get the most elusive creature on Earth on camera, well, you should try to practice to get that beaver or the other animals making those sounds on camera, so you know what the sound is, and so you can prove it, and so you have practice, capturing wildlife in their natural habitats, doing natural things on camera, because it's actually pretty hard to do to get close enough to not scare animals, and then they're doing their own thing,
Right.
Especially on the water, and you got geese and waterfowl that'll start alerting to everything if you move and do stuff. So it's actually pretty hard. So it's a good practice and stuff. Again, it's never negative, even if you don't like the results. You got to find the positivity in things.
Is like me, I'll go out in the woods and I'll take all kinds of pictures. Me myself, yes, I'm looking to see if there's something that normally wouldn't be there in the picture. But at the same time, if there isn't, if it's just trees, or if it's a picture of a bird sitting in a tree or whatever, it's still intriguing to me, because it's just fun to capture every little thing out in the woods on film.
It's good to do. My recommendation too is people are on trails. If you go on the trail and it's what you normally go on often, regularly, film the trail.
Yep.
And so when you walk back, film it. And if you think, man, was this stick laid this way across the trail? I don't remember. Well, I have film. I can look, because there's been plenty of times where it's like, I'm pretty sure this wasn't here before, but I wasn't filming, so I'm not sure. Yep. And then other times it's like, oh my God, this is so obvious that this wasn't here. One example is I was walking this big long trail system, and there was no one. There was no one behind me. I didn't cross anyone. Cross paths with anyone. So when I walked back in the trail, on a blatantly obvious on this log was a green water bottle missing a top. And it was laying down, but it was like this really bright green sticking out of everywhere. And I'm looking around just like, there's no way I walked past this, walking this trail. It's like, whoa. So my recommendation is to film the trail, what's on the trail sticks and how they're laid out, and walking back out. If you notice something, you have video evidence to check.
Right.
Because there might be surprises, and it's like, I don't remember any other people walking behind us. I don't think a deer would do that,
Right. Well, Blake, we've actually had you on for 2 hours, buddy.
Yeah.
We didn't mean to take up all 2 hours of your time, but
don't worry about that.
We are so glad that you came on, and my persistence helped, and
thoroughly enjoyed having you on.
Yes, you guys.
Well, go ahead. I don't want to interrupt.
No, go ahead. I was just going to tell them to show them our friends to show you some love. Like your page, go subscribe, that type of thing.
I appreciate it. No, I appreciate you guys. This is actually really fun. I haven't done a show. I haven't been going live on my own channel for a long time. Too long. I always take breaks. I get too busy, but I always enjoy coming back on and expressing my hobbies with a passion. It's a passion. You gotta. If you don't have passion about this, you're gonna hit a plateau, and it's not gonna be fun. Or you're not getting evidence, and it's frustrating and stuff. You got to have fun, That's why I go out with an open mind, and I appreciate you for reaching out, bugging me and stuff, because I do enjoy you guys' show and stuff. You guys are great people, nice people, and
thank you.
I think that more people should try to reach out to you and have come on here and tell their stories and stuff, because it's a good
Please.
place to do that.
We would love it.
Everyone can find me at the Lost Cryptids Conservatory Facebook page, Facebook group, obviously the YouTube channel and stuff. So I'll be going live here pretty soon. I think we'll be talking about the Patterson film fiasco, craziness, all that. Some new music videos and stuff, some new soundtracks coming out. So that's about it.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Well, Blake, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. I hope you have a great time investigating this coming week or doing your audio stuff. I know that is monotonous work and it takes a lot of hours. I know it does. So, and it was a blessing to see you again. Such a good time to see you.
Well, I appreciate you guys, and I'm honored that you guys have me on and so friendly. And I want to say God bless each and everyone watching the chat is here, and prayers to all the struggles and stuff. So,
all right,
thanks for having me on. And if you guys want me on again, just reach out. You won't have to bug me as much.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Blake, hon. Have a good night.
Yeah, have a good night.
You too.
All right. Yeah. That was a fun show.
Yes, it was.
I know everybody enjoyed it. We got several comments in the chat. Yeah, we definitely will love to have him on again sometime soon.
Yes.
Definitely. And I have an interview coming up soon.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Oh my gosh.
So, middle of the month, this next month, I'll be letting you guys know when and where. But till then, I plan on going outside and doing a little bit of filming, because now we have full foliage outside, and there's been a little bit more activity, so they're starting to come back around. So till then, it's that time again. Thanks everyone for being here tonight. Thanks for everyone who came in to the chat with us. Please make sure to subscribe, comment, share, and like. Make sure that you hit that notification bell. That way you can be notified when we go live or when we post a video. And with that being said, you have anything to add?
Everyone needs to be kind and have a good time and keep smiling. I didn't get to do my segment tonight, but you guys keep smiling. Stay positive. And we love you. Everyone have a good night and
keep squatching.
Good night, everybody. We love you. Bye.
Squatch dogs.
Early music fills the air, echoing through the night.
Squatch dogs.
Whispers in the woods where shadows play. Legends come alive at the break of day. Footsteps echo loud, but no one's there. Bigfoot's lurking in the midnight air. Fragmented house beneath the moonlit gloom. Eyes that shine like fire in a room of doom. Poltergeist dancing, moving through the halls. Ancient secrets breaking through the walls. O.C.S.T is more than a name. Bigfoot and stuff, it's a whole new game. Chasing the truth in a silent night. Empowered by the mystery, fueled by the fright. Cryptids in your mind, let your wonder grow. The hidden world is ours to know. From the forest deep to the attic's dust, O.C.S.T, we're learning to trust. brave won't tread. Hidden voices calling from the things we've read. The unknown things with a haunting sound, empowering us as the tales go around. O.C.S.T, it's more than a name. BIGFOOT and stuff, it's a whole new game. Chasing the truth in the silent night, empowered by the mystery, fueled by the fight. O.C.S.T, it's more than a name. Bigfoot and stuff, it's a whole new game. Chasing the truth in the silent night, empowered by the mystery, fueled by the fight.